Okay, so hello and welcome to the online course coaching podcast. Today's guest is a conscious business coach and consultant who helps leaders and change makers get their message out into the world. He has created 10 online courses and launched to 6 figures and above. He also helps others build their online courses through his Conscious Course Creators Bootcamp and is the mastermind behind the Online Course Coaching Summit. And it's my great privilege that I welcome Devin Slavin to the show. Welcome, Devin.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Tim. It's a pleasure to reconnect with you after we put things together for the summit. Love what you're doing here. And yeah, it's just an honor to be here with you. Thanks.
It's an honor I always love chatting with you, mate. And it's nice to actually be connected on the internet again because we've got a bit of a funny story to tell, haven't we, about my interview,
Oh, yeah.
and we'll probably get into that a little bit later. But before we start, Devin, can you just give everybody a bit of a background about yourself?
Yeah. Of course, I'll do my best to make it brief. And just enlighten you, make you laugh, make you cry. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, so kind of my background. Well, first of all, I live in Santa Cruz, California, and I'm born and raised here in California and love it here. And basically, I think California brings some different maybe views to life just culturally in some ways. At least that's what my friends tell me when they come visit. But I grew up, really interested in nature and sustainability and, asking bigger questions like how are we going to solve the environmental crisis that we're facing right now or, things like that. So I got into permaculture and regenerative design, which is all about how we can create positive, sustainable communities right now and moving forward. And interestingly enough, going down that path, I ended up working with a worldwide nature education organization called Eight Shields, and we kept on getting asked to fly different places around the world to teach workshops, which they still do. But we realized quickly that we could leverage the power of the internet to create courses and to do trainings online. So I've been doing that for about the past 6 or 7 years now. Now I've moved on to my own programs. I still love and work with the Eight Shields, but no longer working with them or, as an employee, but now I'm on my own doing my own thing with Conscious Webpreneur and the Course Creation Network and Online Course Creation Summit, which we'll talk about. So yeah, I'm just lit up about, the power of change that we can bring with online courses and online trainings, but also how, and the incredible benefits of, creating diversified income streams, passive income or close to passive income, things like that. So yeah, I hope that helps fill in the gap there of my background.
Awesome. And yeah, look, I think when it comes to creating online courses, it seems like a mountain of work, and don't get me wrong, it is a lot of work, but I think that people are put off on a number of fronts. And I think today probably is talking about like maybe a bit of reassurance and a bit of guidance into letting people know that, okay, look, yes, there are some skill sets that you've got to develop, but it's not rocket science, and there's skill sets that anybody can develop. Even if you don't want to get in front of camera, there's things you can do.
Right.
I look back over, I've been putting stuff because I come from I wear many hats,
Mhm.
and I've sort of started off in IT, came into natural health. And so like I've studied herbalism and aromatic medicine and clinical massage. So I've got that side, and I've been putting videos up on YouTube for a while. I had to take one channel down because of the FDA. But
Oh, really? Oh, shoot.
yeah, really, yeah. Not that I was making any claims, but I was just probably just saying things they didn't like. But I'd never make claims about anything. But what I'm saying is I look back at a video I even made 3 or 4 years ago, and I go, oh my God, oh really, Tim? And like it's a quality thing, it's an audio thing. I'm talking like this, and I'm so
Right.
scared and so still that. So but over time, it's like everything, as you the more you come into it, and the more you do it, you're comfortable in front of camera. Like, no, both Dev and I have got cameras on us, and we're just sitting down having a chat. We're not overly concerned about what and we're not worried about the ums and the ahs. Although when we're doing our presentations, we probably try to keep those to a minimum. So basically, what we want to talk about today is that, look, it's not rocket science, and there is a formula, and there is a process that you can follow from your initial concept or idea through to your design work, through to your creation, and then your publishing and your marketing. And obviously, Devin's put a bunch of people together. Some of them are the brightest minds when it comes to online marketing. I mean, online course creation, and then he contacted me. I don't know why, but so
funny,
but and that's so why. So let's first start, Devin, at the point of can I teach, and do I have something to teach? Do I know enough? Am I an expert? Why is somebody going to listen to me? Let's because that's where probably most people start.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a big one too, because and that question will never really go away. I think no matter how much of an expert you are, because I think it's this little chatter, this questioning part of our brain that keeps on ticking. But I think the biggest thing that matters more, expertise and experience is very important in bringing courses to the world. Like, I don't really recommend people actually teach about something online that they don't know about yet. Although you can host conversations like a summit, that's potentially like the online course creation summit that I'm doing. You could technically be able to do that without as much experience. But the fundamental thing that I want to mention about, should I be teaching something online or not, is, yes, do you have something that you've had results in that has changed somebody's lives or many people's lives? And you get to define what many is. But have you done something that changes people's lives? And number two, which is almost more important, I think, is passion. Like, are you somebody who's out to make a difference in the world and bring change to the world? Because in a way, you can be a great expert. People can be experts in something, but if they're not passionate about bringing something new to the world, making a difference in the world, their courses probably aren't going to do so well. That's a big statement, and I'm sure there's some markets where that doesn't matter. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that right from the get-go in terms of, am I ready to teach an online course? Yes, it's good. That it would be a good idea to know that you've changed people's lives in what you want to teach before, so you have some past results. But even more important sometimes is the passion behind it. What do you think, Tim?
I think, well, I'm with you, and I think another mistake that people, because they're so worried about they have to be an expert, and you don't have to be an expert. You just got to know more than the next person.
Great point.
And people, as Devin says, like, if you have an expert who stands there and talks to you like a lecturer and does not connect, and he's just talking a lot of theory and rah rah rah, you're not going to get a lot out of that. Whereas if you've got somebody who's actually going through the process, but they're just a couple of steps ahead of you. So firstly, it's relevant, it's recent, and they can talk about the problems. And they're not sitting there as an expert saying, I do no wrong, I've got all the answers and they're all right.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually talk about the problems that they've encountered along the way, the pitfalls that you can now shortcut. So basically it's hacking, isn't it? Like you can say 10 hacks to marketing your massage business. These are the things to avoid, like the plague. Don't go there. You can save yourself 2 years of mistakes, heartache, and wasted money. You can save yourself so can you see what you can bring to people just by telling people what to avoid and not even what to do? And the other thing too is that if you're good at something, the point is you probably don't even know it.
Yeah.
Because you know why? It comes naturally.
Yeah.
You've got a talent. And so you should go out and you should ask people, what do I do that you think's pretty cool? Like, or what, is there anything that I do that you'd like to know? And you'd be surprised. So open it up to other people to suggest things that you can teach. And then you can look at the things you want to teach, the things that people say that you're good at, and then you can cross-reference down to something, and then you can do some more research. Now, okay, so you've got an idea. how do we know whether that is actually going to, is it going to be worthwhile? Are we going to launch the crickets? Are people going to be willing to pay for it? How do we know that now we've got a general idea? Maybe we've got 2 or 3 topics that we know that we can actually teach, that people say we're good at, and it's a skill that they want. What's the next step?
Sorry, the audio cut out for a second. I think it's probably good on the feed, but on my end. But what's next after you've got this idea and this concept coming together? Yeah, and knowing are people going to be interested in it? Yeah, this is a really key part, and I think sometimes people that are creating courses or just first embarking on this journey, they miss this opportunity to test out their course ideas. And then the biggest mistake, talking about mistakes we want to avoid, the biggest mistake is to go off on this path and spend all this time creating a course and then not actually create a course that anyone wants. Unfortunately, even if you know really cool things to teach people, you got to really meet what, line up with what the market wants, with what people want. And I know you know this very well, Tim, but some people starting out might not. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's right. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of ways that I think we can test the market, test our audience. And, one of the, gosh, I mean, I'll just start listing them off, just interacting on social media with people. Hey, you guys, I'm planning on creating this course, putting this course together, and I wanted to know, what, for those of you who are in this situation, what are you struggling with? Or, here's some topics that I've put together. What's most interesting to you related to this subject? And, that would be in a broad sense. Even more specifically, you could actually go into maybe a Facebook group where that's focused more on that niche or topic, and ask that same question, and get feedback. Another level, if you're someone who already has an email list, creating an actual survey. But these kinds of things not only give feedback on the idea, but they also, they actually kind of build buzz. They get the information out there. They let people know that you're building a course, and you can actually start getting them on a waiting list for the course ahead of time, and co-create the course with them and their feedback, which is something that maybe we can get into in a bit, something that I highly recommend.
Absolutely, and then they've got some skin in the game too, and they're more than likely to come on board and get that course because they've had some input, and they know that the course is probably going to be addressing the issue and solving the problem. Okay, so and some other ways, some other really quick ways is to go onto sites like Amazon and search for either Kindle books or other books on that particular topic. And well, firstly, just to see whether they exist, because if they exist, there's probably a good chance that there's a market. Sometimes when you do a search and nothing comes up, don't go eureka, you're the first. It's great to be a pioneer, but the point is that in this day and age, it's very, very rarely that somebody has a brand spanking new idea. Somebody has usually thought of it along the track. Now, if you do a search on a topic and you find no information on it, then it's a pretty fair indication that there's no market, there's no interest in that. So that's another sort of hack that you can look at. So don't go, oh my goodness, look at this. I'm the first to do this. I'm going to make $1 million. You might, but odds on you won't. Now, so the thing is that you go to places like Amazon, you're going to see whether there's materials there on your topic. But more importantly, you look at the reviews. You see what people like about it, but more so what people didn't like, what the information that was missing. Because as Devin says, you've got to create the courses for the market. And if you can identify a hole, and that's what niche is all about. Like niche is a little empty nook, right? So if you can fill that niche, right? If you can bring the information to the market that it wants and is currently missing in the market, then you have got a hot seller on your hands. So look at things like the Amazon reviews, look at things like Udemy reviews, and look at the negative ones. Look at what was missing or what the instructor did wrong in the views. Like sometimes students can be a little bit fickle anyway, but then that will give you an idea about how you're going to go about presenting and what you're going to include into your course. Okay, so you've sort of identified that there is a need. You've identified a topic. how much are you going to put into your course? Are you going to create War and Peace? Like, I mean, are you going to spend the next 18 months building the comprehensive, definitive course on whatever?
Yeah, I love it. You're setting me up for the great questions, and these are the things that we all need to know. And the crazy thing about it is, there's this experience I think people have where it's like from the outside, when they're not actually creating a course or going through the process, they think, oh, I got it. Like, I'll just do it and it'll be all good. And then when you get into the process, all of a sudden you're looking around going, oh shoot, I've taught this before, even in an in-person workshop, but what do I include online and how do I do it? And it's this whole new experience. So I think it's a really important question to think about, what do I include and how do I do it, and how much time do I give myself for it? And I'll actually talk about the time piece first, because that's what I think what makes or breaks an online course, in the sense of actually getting it out there. Because I know a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people, I coach a lot of people that, they come to me and they said, oh, I've gotten this far in the course creation process, but I got stuck. Or, a lot of people just don't finish their course because it can be daunting and things happen, they have to go onto another project. So I really am an advocate of putting together a course under a short amount of time, really setting aside a certain amount of time per week, whether it's a day a week or a couple days per week, a few hours, 3 days a week, really just focusing and committing to really getting into the course curriculum and creation process, over a month or so, maybe 2 months. There's situations to go further, but it's almost like if you don't focus on it and get it done now, then it might never happen. And that's, I think, the worst thing that can happen isn't launching a course that only a couple people buy, but it's actually not launching your course at all. So I'll start with that. And yeah, I'm curious. I'd love for you to chime in on this too.
Okay, well, I'm a big believer. Like when I'm looking through courses and it goes 25 hours of this and 40 hours of that, I go, oh no, I don't have time for that. I really don't have time. Seriously, I don't have time. It might be stellar information, but I do not have time to sit there for 25 hours. Now, usually what people do, people have got a different expectation from an online course versus if they go into university or a college or whatever else. Okay, now people will go on to look at it for an online course because they've got a problem, and they've got a problem that they need to solve basically straight away. So I believe in, well, I spruik and teach the one problem, one solution.
Nice.
Okay, so your course should address a problem and provide, and it should be concise, so it shouldn't go on and on and on with a lot of fluff, because other people think, oh look, the longer the course, the more perceived value. No, people are busy, and if you could tell me how to solve my problem in 5 minutes, I'll give you the $50 because you solved my problem, right? I'm not going to sit there for an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours to get that 5 minutes of information because it's all been padded up, right? So that's a big thing. Now let's look at the other thing. If you build the definitive course on whatever, and and you're reaching a certain target market, and that person has probably got 80% of that information anyway, and they've just got a couple of small stumbling blocks. Are they going to spend $1,000 or whatever on a definitive course for 25 hours to just solve one issue? And probably not. So let's take something that probably most of us understand, and that's the game of golf. And I like to use this as a bit of an analogy. And there's so many different aspects to the game of golf, none of which I've mastered, by the way. But the point is that you could sit down for 18 months and design the definitive course on golf. And here's something too, like if you're not a good golfer, why don't you go and talk to a golf pro and actually film the golf pro doing stuff, and then you don't have to be the expert, right? This is the way that you hook into things, right? But let's just take the game of golf into consideration and say you've got a guy who's been playing golf for 5 or 6 years, and he's got part of the game mastered, or he's got it covered, but it's other parts of the game. Now, does he want to go out there and buy a definitive course, or does he just want to get a really quick course on how to drive the ball longer and straighter off the tee?
Right.
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 Now, the point is, it's easier to make, to get somebody to spend $100 10 times than it is to get them to spend $1,000 once, right? So if you bring them in on, here's my course on how to drive the ball straighter, longer, without injuring yourself. So it will take you through all the pre-game stretches and make sure that your body, because we know that you've got to be very flexible and your body's got to work as a whip, blah, blah, blah. So it can be quite definitive in that one aspect of the game. All right. So at the end of it, after they've gone through, and that course could be an hour, it could be 90 minutes, whatever, if they go out and they apply what you teach, they can now go longer. Now you can do another course on chipping and running, fairway, like hitting off the fairway, tips and tricks for getting out of the rough, putting, all these different things, like how to overcome a slice, how to overcome a hook, all these different courses. So you can end up with 10 different courses. And now the person you got a result who can now drive the ball 25, 30 yards further, who has a problem putting. Well, if you fix his problem driving, do you think he's going to buy your putting course?
Absolutely.
And do you think he's going to buy your chip and run course? So it's one problem, one solution. And the other thing too is that how long is it going to take you to get that course to market? And saying, as Devin said, are you just going to drop out because it gets too hard along the way? Because then you just get totally overwhelmed by the sheer amount of, you get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work. If you get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work to make it, don't you think the student's going to get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of study they've got to do to complete it? So you're going to get a course to market. You're going to start making money. You're going to start making a name for yourself. You're going to start building a list. You're going to start getting a following. So you can, so instead of spending 8 months, right, even 8 months to build a big course, you can spend a month and get a course to market. And while that course is making you money, you can create next course. Now this comes back to Devin and his point on surveying. You've got people buying your driving off the tee course. Do you go off and think, now the next thing I'm going to do this, or do you actually send them an email going, hey, listen, I'm going to do another course on another aspect of golf. What's another aspect of golf you're having the most problems with? You go back and you ask them what they're having trouble with, and you create the course for them. And then obviously they're going to buy that course, and then you've got course number 2. And then you survey that group for your 3rd, survey that group for your 4th. So you see what I mean? So exactly right. I'm with you 100%
Yeah,
of the way.
and that is that is one of the hardest things to do. I'll be honest with you. I mean, because once you get down this process of being a creator, you're generating things, you have ideas, right? We all have so many ideas, and we kind of already start thinking about our next thing while we're creating the current thing, or probably 10 next things, right? It's just this continual thing, writing it down, journaling, which I think is a good idea. But I think that's one of the hardest things, is actually to suspend our judgment and connect with our audience and really ask what they want and go from there. And that, believe me, I mean, that's my experience. That's a personal transformation I've had. And I think that transforms business in general versus, I have something that I want to give to you or that I want you to buy versus, hey, what's going on for you over there? And what can I create for you to serve you? To create a result or certain outcomes in your life, to make your life easier, to bring you more success in life, these kinds of things. So I think that's great that you mentioned that, because really it takes something to not impose our ideas on what our audience needs. And just to reflect on the other side too, though, it's a balance, because it's not about saying, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? 100%. We have to be visionaries and leaders and kind of staying one step ahead. So I think it's not easy necessarily to find that balance, but once you go for it, I'm sure it'll come your way. So yeah.
Absolutely. And as you're saying, staying on track, because this is probably one of the main reasons why things don't get finished, because you're just jumping from one thing, because isn't that what the entrepreneur does? They jump from one shiny thing to the next. and one trick that I do to stay on track, because I said I've always got got an opinion on everything, and I've also got all these ideas flooding in all the time. And the worst thing to do is think, oh, I'm going to lose that idea, and then you sort of go flying off. Well, that's what that idea is actually better than what I'm working on. I'll put this one on the sideline. I'm going to do this. Then all of a sudden you end up with about 12 or 14 unfinished courses. So what I do, I've actually got an email address. I've got about 16 email addresses. I've got about five websites on various topics. But so I've actually got one email address, and it's ideas@suchandsuch.com.au, right? And so whenever if I'm sort of just out, even if I'm out and about or I'm working on something and I get this idea, I see something triggers something, I'll send an email to that address. I'll say either course idea, book idea, blog idea, whatever, and I'll just say this is the idea. And then it's gone. I don't have to worry about it because I've recorded it. I don't have to worry about forgetting it. And then when I am ready for my next project, I then and only then do I actually open up that mailbox to see what ideas I've come up with, and then I'll choose my next project, and away I go. So that's one way. Like if you are worried about having all these wonderful ideas come in your head, that's fantastic, because once you start to create, once you start to open up, that's what's going to happen. Like it can start that initially you're struggling for an idea, and then all of a sudden once you start to create and you open up, then ideas just start to flow. So it's important to record them, but it's important to stay on task and finish one thing at a time.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to go, outright just second what you said and emphasize it more, because that is like we said earlier, I think it's one of the number one challenges that we have as course creators is not actually finishing our course and getting it out there. And that's not gonna, that's, if we keep doing that over and over again, we're not going to have a successful experience, good experience. So I think that's really cool. And we really have to be diligent as, a lot of us are sort of solopreneurs or, running our own business. It's up to us to determine what we do. And there's so many things going on that can take our attention away, to someone else's project, to someone else's thing. We have to keep a pulse on things, but with a course, it really takes diligence to focus and, commit a certain amount of time per week until we finish it. And I love it. I love that you said, not, jumping to this next idea, because, the next course without finishing the first one, because that will clearly lead to a disaster based on my experience of doing that myself. So so cool. I'm glad we're touching on these, because I think this is really key stuff. Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying and what we're trying to do here, because I said there is this amazing event starting on Monday. So anybody who's sort of on the fence and sort of, I don't know if I can do an online course anyway, and is it for me? Anybody, because we all have skills to share. We all have our unique talents and abilities. We've all had our life experience. And I said, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at what people want to learn from you. And it's saying that's why you've got to go and ask other people so what skills do you think I have? What skills do you reckon I could teach? Because people think, and people say, oh, you're absolutely wonderful at this. And you go, really? Yeah. Like, do people actually want to know? Because it comes naturally to you. So you don't even stop and think about it. So look, it is something for everybody, and it's a huge opportunity to build a residual income and sort of not get out of the 9 to 5. Not initially, like it all takes work, it takes time, but it is an opportunity. At this stage, sure, I'd like to welcome those who are on with us live. People, as I said, people do come and go. As I said, if you want to ask a question during this chat, because we are here to answer your questions. This is why we do these live interactive sessions. So if you've got a question to ask, just put a /Q followed by the question. If it's on topic, then Devin and I will address it as a matter of the course. And I say, and do hang around to the end of the official because I said this will become a episode on my podcast. So this is why we're sort of restricting just a chat to this. But when we finish the official interview, then we'll unlock that seat and you can pop in and have a chat and have some coaching. Nice. So do stick around. Okay, so let's talk about. So we've got our idea, we've tested it, and we've got our curriculum together. So we know what our content's going to be, and we've sort of laid it out. So we're going to obviously everything has to follow a logical flow. Am I going to, how am I going to produce this information? Is it going to be a book? Is it going to be an email series? Is it going to be a video series, as in a screen capture? So I'm going to set up a keynote or a PowerPoint presentation and just simply put voice over video? Or am I going to really put myself out there and put the makeup on and get myself all coiffed up and stand in front of a camera and do a talking head? So let's talk about those
Yeah, that's a
options.
great question. I think, I'll jump right to my favorite, which is actually a combination of, of talking head, of talking direct to camera like we're doing right now, and PowerPoints and presentations. And, but to take a step back first, I want to mention that it really depends, I think, on the content of the course and what the type of course is. If we're doing a yoga course, then we're probably going to have a lot more video, direct to camera video, demonstrating things, demonstrating activities. But there's probably a point where a PowerPoint becomes applicable as well in there too for some teaching points. So, the course content itself probably guides that. But I definitely, I think in terms of transfer of information, that presentations with slide shares, PowerPoints can be really helpful just for conveying main points to a presentation. So I recommend that. And I think it's a great way for people who are uncomfortable in front of camera. You'll definitely get over that pretty quickly as you start doing online courses. So don't worry about that. But, speaking behind your PowerPoint, kind of hiding behind your PowerPoint, totally okay as long as you're demonstrating and content, well, not demonstrating content, conveying some kind of information that's going to create a result for your participants. So my favorite's a mixture. Written content, also great. I like to bring in worksheets, guides, questionnaires. So, something that I didn't mention a little earlier is I really like when I'm creating a course, just think of it in terms of start to finish, step by step. What does it take? What are the essentials to go from point A to point B or point Z, whatever the process is? And I just think, we really need to think that, because when I personally purchase a course, it's all about, I just don't have the time or energy, or I'm getting stuck. And I just want the step by step all the way through it so that I don't have to figure it out for myself. So I recommend that people go through that journey again for themselves when they're creating their course content, and bring that into worksheets and guides. So, that's my personal recommendation and favorite way to create courses. Now, I think what you're alluding to also is that sometimes we could actually just have a course be mostly written material. And I think, that depends on what your audience is, what they like to, how they like to learn most, and what the type of content is. Written's great. We don't need 20 hours of video, like you said before earlier. It's not about the amount of time. It's actually about getting results in less time. So if a video helps do that, go video. If written helps do that, do that. go by writing. But I think the cool thing about video is you can really have a conversation and sort of walk people through the next steps, meet them where they're at, talk to them, and then introduce the content in that way. So yeah. What do you think, Tim?
Perfect. I love it. And there's a couple of things I want to sort of build on there. Like when I do my course creation, because as online instructors, we have to take the learning objective as our main goal. So why did the student buy that course? Is because they had a problem that they wanted to solve. So what are the steps required for them to solve that problem? So when I design my courses, I actually look at the actual physical activities that they have to do to accomplish to get to the end result. So at the end, so say then we sort of break that down to obviously a progress as a path, a journey. So say in section 1, at the end of section 1, I want them to go off and I want them to do 5 things. So section 1 is then designed over educating them on how to do those 5 things, because there's nothing worse when you're doing a course and you go through all your material and then you give these action steps and going, well, how do I do that? No. So basically I start the other way around. I actually start with what actions I want them to take, and then I actually build the the instruction around how to do those action steps. Then at the end I say, okay, now go off and do this, and they know what they're doing, right? So that's it. So yeah, so you got to bring that in. I suppose what I was sort of alluding to too is that people just think that online courses are things that run up on Udemy, Teachable, that are these big 1 hour, 2 hour things. And I'm saying that, like, if you're a service provider, say, like, okay, let's say you're a massage therapist, you can create a 5-part email response course teaching prospective clients how massage can help them with their back pain. That's still a course, right? If you own a software, like if you develop software and you're giving out a free trial version of that software, you're not going to get, if people don't know how to utilize that software, people don't know the power and what they can do with that software, they may not convert and purchase the software at the end of the trial. Whereas if you provide them with training, then you can convert. And once again, you can provide that training by sending them setting up a video. So you could have a number of videos, and then day one saying, these are the basics, and go to this video. So saying, just think about the application of online or digitally delivered courses beyond what you see on Udemy and these other places, that you can apply these courses in any type of business for any type of purpose.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It's important to think outside the box. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. Great.
Okay. So now we've got our, so we're going through these steps, and I'm hoping that everybody's probably starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with the idea that anybody can do this. Equipment. Okay. So we talked about, and I said there are some skill sets. Like, I'm not saying that this is a drop in the lap, get rich quick, easy, but there are some skill sets that you need, and there's some equipment you need. But do you have to go out and spend, say, $2,500 on a nice camera to do your talking head stuff?
Yeah. I haven't done that yet. If you have a camera you recommend, though, that I should get, I probably would be open to investing that. But there we go. You're showing me the iPhone or your Android. Can't tell what it is, but yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, now we're getting HD on this, just the devices we take in, hold in our laps, hopefully not carrying in our pockets all day, but we do that sometimes. But I have a Logitech CE930E here that we're using. It's definitely, I think it's less than $100 now. I'm not sure, but basically it's just an HD camera. Right now I'm actually on my cell phone headset right now. I have another mic here, but I'm not using it. I've noticed that there's even less background noise sometimes when it's just the mic really close to me. But so, I mean, this is an example. The same equipment that we're using right now, absolutely at the quality level of creating a course. Could go beyond that, get a DSLR that does higher quality and go above that, but definitely not required to start from that level. And, I think the main thing is actually getting high definition video and audio, and then being able to edit it, and just the fact of just the matter of actually recording it and getting it down. That's the key thing here. The more barriers that we have from taking that video and getting it onto the computer and editing that and uploading it to our core software, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, I eliminate as many barriers as possible. That's my recommendation. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. Like, I wouldn't know the first way to use a DSLR camera. Okay, I don't know. And as I said, like, we've all got our skill sets, and I'm really good at some things, and I'm absolutely hopeless at others. And understanding camera technology, like, I've done some courses and that sort of stuff, but I'm not a photographer, and it's not a passion of mine. So I'm not interested in going out and learning a lot, right? But no, this is a Samsung S6, and it lets me to do 4G videos. So I do super high definition. And then I crop. I'm just going to turn I don't do much webcam stuff. I've got a very cheap Microsoft webcam, and that's just to keep bandwidth, because I do a lot of this sort of work. So that just keeps my bandwidth low. But I've got a lapel microphone here. Okay, so this is a Rode lapel mic. It's called a Smart Lab 2, And as you can see, this is designed to plug straight into your headphone jack of your mobile phone, whether it be an iPhone or an Android, and then it just clips onto your lapel. So a very small little
Nice.
microphone. But what I found, and it's sort of directional. It's not purely cardioid, but it's pretty directional. It does cut down a lot of background noise. But what I found when I plugged that straight into the S6 and what I was doing with the video and the audio together is that I had no control over the audio level, and the audio was too loud and it was getting a bit distorted. So then what I did is I got my Samsung S4 and I downloaded a graphic equalizer application for free, and so now I put my mic into this, and so I record the sound separate. I record the audio separately through the graphic equalizers. I clap my hands at the beginning. I go clap, and then I start to talk, and then at the end I marry the audio and the video together, and I delete the audio that was created as part of the video, and then I've got this. I also put the audio through. I clean it up through Audacity, which isn't hard either. That takes a couple of minutes to learn how to do. So I'll just give you a little bit, like my place is a mess because I work 17 hours a day, but I'm just going to just give you a little bit of a, behind me you see black, and you can see that's photo, and it goes right to the ceiling, right? So when I stand up, I've got a black background, and that's black photographic paper. It didn't cost much. I spin over this way, you can see softbox lights. Now those lights, they cost a couple $100. So there wasn't a lot of outlay. Now I'm off camera. Come back, Tim. Come back. Okay, but the point is, once again, and look, you can stand in front of. No, you don't have to go for the black background. You can have what Devin has. You can be outside. But the point is that, do you need a lot? No. Do you need a lot? Well, you need good lighting. Good lighting is important. Like, you're not going to get any courses approved through Udemy if your lighting isn't up to scratch. You're not going to get any courses approved through Udemy if your video quality isn't up to scratch, and you're definitely not going to get it if your audio is scratchy and fuzzy. So a good microphone, good lighting, but your mobile phone these days is more than that. And that Smart Lab, I think that cost me something like $60 Australian. It's probably even cheaper in the States. You can buy an extension cord because it's actually quite a short cord on it, but you can buy. I had a 6-meter extension cord. Excuse me, but I found it was just better to record audio and video separately.
Nice. Yeah.
So like I'm in a tiny little unit. Okay, I can't. Like, I love animals, so I never swing a cat because I don't know whether that's a global, like you're saying, it's so small you can't swing a cat. It's a very, very small. It's a very, very small unit, right? But the point is, I produce premium courses out of this unit just by standing up. I basically stand up where I'm at. I've got a black background. I've got the lights on me. My phone's on a tripod. Away I go. So there's no reason to let technology stand in the way. And then, of course, if you're doing screen sharing, then you'll need something like Keypoint, PowerPoint, that sort of stuff.
I want to chime in on one thing with the video because I like that you mentioned outdoor. Outdoor is really cool. There's a couple things that I like to mention about people that are doing outdoor footage. Number one, and I think most people get this after they've done some, photos outside, is that you don't want your background lighter than you are. And that works for inside as well. But, just watch out for the light. And if you're competing with more light behind you than is actually on your face and body or whatever you're doing. So that's one thing. And the other thing to watch out for is dappled shade. That's the worst thing ever. If you're underneath the tree or something, it's a beautiful scenery, but you have all this speckled shadow on your face. That starts, all of a sudden, it's like this one spot's moving around on your forehead and, whatever it is. So you really got to avoid that. So it's almost better if you could even create artificial shade or artificial light with like a reflector, those kinds of things. Just watch out for dappled shade, because if you record an epic content piece where you are delivering exactly what people need and the light is all messed up, then you're probably going to need to redo it. So yeah, just watch out for those things. But outside is really cool. As long as the other thing to watch out for is, the lighting changing over time if you're recording a whole set of videos and it's a cloudy day. I mean, actually, when I was recording for the Online Course Creation Summit doing videos, even though I have I'm in my office. I have the blinds shut completely and the artificial lighting here, but we were still getting the clouds going in and out and the sunlight peeking through the cracks. And my camera, here I am talking, and my camera's going really bright, really dark. I'm like, oh no, I tried to control this. So even I've done my best, but just watch out for those kinds of things, because recording for a course, you run it at the top notch. But don't let it stop you. I would say if a video is not perfect, but it gets the information across, the other side of it is just to make sure to publish it and get it out there and don't let it stop you. So hope that helps everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically the rule is that people will forgive bad video, but they'll never forgive bad audio. Like if you're fuzzy on the video, people can cope with that. But if your audio is staticky, hard to listen to, up and down, soft, too loud, whatever, or there's lots of background noise, and people really have to sort of try really hard to hear you, they're going to tune out. You're going to lose them. So top quality audio is really, really important when it comes to your online courses.
Yeah, nice.
Next step. What's that?
Next step. Okay, so we're talking about recording. It seems like we might be talking about that piece where you're actually putting it into course creation, course delivery software, right? Is that what we're talking about in terms of your choosing? So that's the interesting thing, is it's like, even though there's this huge process that we've talked about, all these things that we need to test for, plan for, creating our curriculum, recording, all of that, we can do all of that before we actually choose a platform. Yet the number one thing I think people need to know before they start any of it is, what am I going to do? How am I going to host my course? And the one thing that I can say for sure that I found over all my times of recommending people different pieces of software is actually that there's no one size fits all. There's a lot of great tools and technology out there for hosting courses. And, it depends on a number of things. It depends on what's your price point, how do you run your business, what are you already doing in your business, and what software do you already have. Depends on budget, the type of the course, how much of a list that you might already have, in terms of a following, because some platforms are better for if you don't have a following versus if you do already have a following. So, I'll just mention all the factors off the top of my head that go into choosing a platform, and then maybe we can talk about those different options. Yeah.
I think the other thing too is that different platforms have different requirements, and you should investigate different platforms even before you record and edit your modules, because what can happen is, say, like, I've got one of my courses I host solely by myself. It's not anywhere. It's tucked safely behind a membership site, and it's actually 6 videos, and each video goes between 20 minutes and half an hour, right? Now, those videos could not be uploaded to Udemy, because Udemy say you can't. Actually, you could load up to 20 minutes, couldn't you?
Actually,
I don't know.
I'm not a Udemy person. I think Udemy is great. It definitely has its reasons to use it. So that's the one area I can say I don't have the experience, so I'll defer to you on that.
Yeah. Look, all I know is that they like you to keep your videos between like around 5 minutes. So they like that. And I know they will not let you upload a video longer than 20 minutes. I know I haven't done a lot on Udemy recently either, but I know those were the requirements. So just if you look, everything's got its place. Like Udemy has got its place. If you're just starting out and you're not quite sure, Udemy is a zero cost entry, so it doesn't cost you a cent. They give you the platform, but they also dictate to you. They have got some very stringent rules. They've got some things that you've got to adhere to. And I'm saying, if you want to play in their playground, you've got to put up with their rules, right? I don't want to play in the playground, so I don't put up with their rules. But at least but I think if you're just starting out as an online instructor, as your first course, it's not a bad process to go through the Udemy process, because they've got a very stringent process for approving courses based on quality of the content, not your actual content, because you can't have that many content experts to say, is this person talking rubbish or not? But we're talking about, they've got a process to say whether your video and audio is up to scratch. So, and they'll come back and go, no, look, there's some, so it can teach you how to get that good quality product,
Nice.
but you're restricted. And then you've got your other, like your teachables and other areas which they don't do the marketing for you. You've got all the freedom in the world, but there's other restrictions. And then there's self-hosting, which is my preferred method, but that doesn't come without cost. Like I've recently changed. I've gone over to ClickFunnels now, but I'd gone out and spent $1,000 on, optimized press, wishlist member, affiliate WP. So I had all these bits and pieces all stuck together like a jigsaw puzzle. And the problem is that when you start going to that situation, you've got to be pretty techie, because you put one of your plugins updates and it breaks something else, and you've got to be able to trace things. So it's not that it's not undoable. And this is where you get other things that you can load onto WordPress, like Lifter and these other LMS specific WordPress plugins. And they're all great if you're techie. But then I had to go over to ClickFunnels just because of the way I wanted to structure my course and everything else. ClickFunnels was the only way that I could drip that, and I'll talk about that later if you're interested. But I'll pass over to Devin, because he's the man at the moment.
Man. Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is a conversation. A lot, like I said, a lot of people come to me and they, we can't just give a one size fits all for course creation. So you touched on Udemy, you touched on Teachable, and Thinkific. There's a lot of other on the spectrum of being able to control your content, control your course. They are great. And then the opposite end of the spectrum from Udemy is hosting your own content, usually on a WordPress site with these incredible plugins like LearnDash, Lifter, LMS. What's another one? There's plenty out there, but WP Course, that's exactly the one I was thinking of too. So there's these great ones out there.
I own that.
Yeah, and the thing about those it's great. They're really great. One-time fee usually to purchase, or once a year you're paying just $100 or so. Zippy Courseware is another one, but Zippy Courses. I mean, so the thing is that with those, like you said, you get to control your content. You usually only pay once or just once every year. Very affordable. But you got to watch out, because things like uploading your video to Amazon S3 to be able to download it, and how do you actually protect that? And then all of a sudden you're spending a lot of time dealing with these little things that you didn't foresee coming. There's ways to streamline it, but I just want to mention it. If you feel a little bit more, if you want more versatility, and you want to host it completely on your own and own every aspect of your content and not worry about your monthly payments and stuff, WordPress is great. That's what I'm doing. And just know that you'll probably run into a couple of things that you weren't expecting along the way. So, one of the things where I like to go with people just starting out is something like Teachable or Thinkific, because it's just in between those things. You can focus more on content, getting the videos out there and up there. You can control the pricing. You can control, the marketing of your course. I think Udemy, I don't know if it still has this. I know recently they brought a cap on their course prices, and I just think, I'm not sure why they did that. I mean, I'm sure I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, is they know what they're doing. They're not dumb. They're not doing things for no reason. But for people like us that want to be creating courses, I think there's a lot of different trainings that need to be over $50. So I'll just mention that. So I think it's up to you to determine where you are on that spectrum, and there's definitely a solution for you. And check things out. Try a freebie. If there's a free trial on something, do it. Get in there and test it out. If there's a great, refund policy on something that someone says, yeah, try this out. You have 30 days to get a refund. Do that and try it out. And if you get stuck and it's really something that you can't get past, you don't like it, then don't use that platform. That's what I say. Yeah.
I agree. And I'm gonna throw, because another thing I teach is about using affiliate
Yeah.
products, and I'm going to actually throw my affiliate link for this free 14-day trial of ClickFunnels in. Now, the reason why I went to ClickFunnels is because it said it was the only way that I could deliver my course in the way that I wanted. And I'll explain it to you, because it might just give some people some ideas that you can, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Now, I initially did this course. It was called, well, it's still out there, Massage Marketing Mastery.
Oh, that's a
And
good
that's
brand name. I like it.
massagemarketingmastery.com. Yeah. So but that was initially, even though it was worth, $2,000, it was targeted towards struggling massage therapists, because massage therapists don't know how to market their business. And so I put it out there for $497, and I thought, that's still $497 is a lot of money to somebody who is struggling to pay their rent and feed themselves. There has to be another way. And so I broke the course delivery up, and that's why I had to go to ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels was the only way that I could find that I could have these one-click upsells and downsells, so that they didn't have to re-enter so they didn't have to pay and pay again and pay again. They could come in at the base level, and then they could select, do I want that? Do I want that? Do I want that? And it takes them through a very, very smooth process. And then, of course, it has the built-in contact management system. It's got the built-in affiliate system, as the membership. So it's everything that I need, all under the one roof. So instead of now charging $497 for my course, I've just taken out, because the $497 included 6 live coaching calls. Okay,
Wow.
so it had the core. It had core units. There was 2.5 hours of core material. It had 2 bonus videos, which was another hour. So it had 3.5 hours of basically core and bonus material. And then they were going to get 6 90-minute group coaching calls, not individual, but group coaching calls. And so, because once again, we've got to be part of this process, and we've got to push through and make them accountable and make sure they reach their learning outcomes. And the best way to reach their learning outcomes is for you to be available to your students, right? So it is so now when they come through, when they purchase the core material for $97, the next screen it takes them to is an option to come into a continuity program, which gives them more training on a monthly basis, but also fortnightly group coaching calls. And they can come in and they can trial that. Well, actually, they've got an option to buy 6 months for a cheaper version. Now, if they say we don't want to pay those 6 months, they have a downsell option where they can actually trial the continuity for 14 days, and then after that, it's $47 a month. So now we've made it. We've made it doable. And then I've got a premium where I do one-on-one business coaching, but which isn't part of that funnel. So that's the reason why I went to ClickFunnels. So that was the only way that we could do things in under that. Okay. So yeah, there are so many different platforms and so many different ways to do things. And I think it's also good not to put all your eggs in one basket, because I think this is what people on Udemy now discovered, that most of the big instructors had their courses out in other places anyway. But I think you'd be pretty decimated if you had built your courses based on, well, when I first joined Udemy, there was no cap. People could charge whatever they wanted, and then about 12 months in, they capped it at $300, and now they capped it at $50. Now, even if you came in and you created a course and you were selling it for $297, and you were like, okay, not everybody buys for $297, and that was Udemy's reasoning, right? But the point is that some do, but the point, and some buy it at different scales. But if you've quit your day job because your Udemy income's so great, and then have turned around and capped it at $50, you're going to be pretty cut up, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And that's So put stuff out there. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Put your course out there on different platforms.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention about this is, we're talking about technology, we're talking about platforms, we're also talking about pricing. And this whole pricing model is a huge, topic really to get into. But I think the important thing to consider is, what's the value of what we're putting together? What is the difference that it's going to make in somebody's life? And to really price it from that situation, but also to think about, what's our, I think Brennan Burchard talks about the concept of an integrated product suite. I love that. It's a 3-word concept that really shows you kind of different tiers of products. We have entry level, we have our freemium, our free products. People come in and they get to know us and they get some sort of result and they get an experience working with us. And then we have our lower end, lower cost products that are entry level, then mid, and then maybe high end. And I think it's really important to consider those things. And I hear you mentioning some of that, Tim, in what you've put together. And ClickFunnels is a technology that allows you to really integrate that product suite in a way that helps people choose their path. But I think it's really key to think about the big picture without getting too overwhelmed. But think about what's something that I can offer that's at the lower end of the spectrum, so that people can get a taste of what I'm offering and have a low barrier to entry. And if they want more, go to a higher level and a higher level. And I think that, it's something I want to throw out there is just to mention that I recommend, even from the beginning, if you have an online course, to also put together some kind of a one-on-one offering, because there will always be somebody that is really, they're buying your online course, but they're really seeking eventually one-on-one mentorship or coaching. So
Correct.
put that out there,
Yep.
even if, that's not your focus. That's not what people are, that's not what you're expecting people to buy. Put it out there, because people will want that and be ready for it as well. I'm not saying put out a coaching program, even if you're not ready to be a coach. Of course, get your experience, get ready to work with people one-on-one. But I think it's important to think of the big picture and levels of commitment, levels of financial investment, and levels of results in one-on-one, done for you, done with you experiences. So I just want to touch on that.
Sure. Okay, we'll come back. So now we're launched. I think it's a big thing. This is where I came into your summit, was talking about
Right.
engagement and making yourself available and using the streaming video options available from your phone and everything else. And saying that, and it's so nice that we've got to speak for so long today without my internet cutting off. Isn't that wonderful? Because because when we did sat down to do the interview for the summit, and we got about 45 minutes through, and then I lost my internet connection. I think, that's a bit odd. I've never had that problem before. So I went and tried to reboot my modem, and it wouldn't come back online. And so we actually finished the interview using the technology that we were talking about, which was probably apt. But for me, the headache went on, because what happened was my telecom provider decided, because they didn't think I was using my phone enough, that they were going to reallocate my line to somebody else. It was a business line. Yeah, no, it was. They came up with all these excuses, but at the end of the day, they made a massive blunder, and they actually gave my telephone line to somebody else. So it took me a week to get my internet back, which, when you run an internet business, is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. So anyway, but that's, so we talk about marketing, and there's so many different ways, and you don't have to be a marketing expert, but there's ways to market your course, like come on places like Blab. Blab's a great way for people. See, a lot of people say, put out a free course so people can get a feel for your style, and they might buy a course from you. Well, another way to do it is to make yourself available. Come onto platforms like Blab and teach something, teach an aspect of what your course is. Get people on into the hot seat and coach them. Have people sort of watching what you're doing, and they're going to connect with you. And then at the end, or throughout the process, drop a link in, and drop a link to your course and that sort of stuff. It's a great way to go. Periscope is another one, and obviously the next one coming up is yeah, really, Blab's a great place to be. And then obviously the next one is Facebook Live, which is absolutely taking the world by storm. And I saw an amazing stat the other day where this one video had something like 400,000 views or something on YouTube, but millions of views on Facebook Live. Like, so basically Facebook Live is going to be something big and something worth looking at. Blab is always evolving. There's always something new with Blab. Now you can do unlisted Blabs, which means that you're not going to, but the issue with unlisted Blabs at this stage is that you can't order them. But people can only, but you get a private link and you can send them out to your people, and people can only people who have the link can actually join the Blab. Now, if you want to record that, you could probably run something like Camtasia or ScreenFlow or something, and do it. If you've got enough grunt on your computer, you could probably record the screen as you're going anyway. But and Blab is also letting you now screen share,
cool.
So you can actually share a screen. I don't know actually what I think we can do. Let's see what I can. Let's see if we can do something funky here. Can I open up another? See if we can open up another window here.
Sam, I just wanted to jump in and say that I'm going to need to head out in the next 5 minutes or so, just because of other commitments. Yep. But I think this is great where we're going.
Yep. Cool. No worries. I'll just show you this very quickly, just so you can. I've never tried this before. It's probably not going to work. I'm hitting the button. There's an orange. Oh, hang on. The seat is. If I unlock the seat, and now I hit this button, and I can. Let's see whether share this one. There we go.
Oh, we've got a.
That's probably I shared the wrong screen. Yeah, we have. I've shared the wrong screen there, so we'll kill that. I had two screens to share. I picked the wrong one. So it must be, wasn't it? If I change my screen here. Oh, because okay, that's come up.
You're clicking.
Anyway, the point, here we go. Look at that.
Oh.
So now that's actually live. Look at that, hey?
That's an important.
Isn't that amazing?
Wait, so what did you actually do? You opened up a seat for that?
Yeah, so I had a seat open, and there's a little purple button. When you're a host, you see a little purple button, and then you click that, and it will give you all your open windows, and you just click the one that you want to share. And for those of you who haven't hooked into the online course creation summit, I'm going to put my affiliate link in. I'm always very transparent when it comes to, and I promote people to use affiliate links because it doesn't take anything away. Like you're just getting a commission, but nobody's missing out on any money. So I don't know why people get a bit funky about affiliate links, because nobody's losing anything. Okay, so that's where you want to go. So basically what we've spoken about today are all the different steps that you can take to create an online course and what's involved. And as you can see, there is a bit involved, but it's something that really shouldn't scare you off, right? It's something that we can all do. It's something that we all have doubts about at the beginning. Having doubts is human nature. Like we always second guess ourselves. We always wonder if we can do things. But the point is that we can all do things. And what Devin has put together in the Online Course Creation Summit is 40 experts on various aspects of course creation. And you can access that summit for free initially. And then you're going to get, and the summit starts on Monday, the 7th of June. You get access to the interviews for 48 hours after they go live. But if you want lifetime access, you've got some options there. Okay. But seriously, if you are a current online course creator, or you are thinking about becoming an online course creator, this is it. This is amazing. This is it. This is finally the summit for online course creators. It's it. Like I've been to so many different summits over the last 6 months, and they've all been great. But here is something specific for online course creators, and I really, really encourage you all to get onto it. Okay, Devin, I know you got to go. Is there something that you want to touch on before we finish?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to say in terms of where we were going with this conversation. In terms of, we've launched our course and we're getting into marketing. There's a whole, that's a whole nother topic. Maybe we'll have to get into that next time. But the one thing I want to say for anyone who has created a course and gets into the marketing process is stick with marketing the course that you created before. Really get it moving, really get it going, and before you launch the next course. Because that's the biggest mistake I think people make with course creation is that they put so much time and energy into a course and then they move on to the
Oops, what happened there? I've just lost Devin. There's something funky happening there. Devin, we've lost you, my friend. Crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened either. You're sitting there, but there's no video. I might just yeah, come on in again.
All
And
right. Oh, I'm in the wrong webcam.
oh, you got a love lab. There we go.
Am I back on? Okay, I'm on a different
You are, mate.
webcam. I've got the webcam underneath my webcam. Oh no, it's this right. Cool, it's working again. All right. So anyway, I don't know what the last thing was that you heard, but yeah, just stick to the course you've already created. Really key to focus on that. And in terms of the summit, yeah, go to Tim's link, eCourse Domination/OCCS, and that stands for Online Course Creation Summit. And what I've done with the Online Course Creation Summit is it brought together over 40 experts in course creation and online marketing like Tim here, who have a great experience in the course creation process and how to design, build, and launch your own online course. And for anyone that's creating courses, whether you've done it already or you're just starting, tune into this because it's so interesting to hear what everyone is saying. What are the similarities that different course creators are sharing? What are the differences, the things that stand out? I guarantee you that if you tune into the summit and watch these interviews, that your course creation expertise is going to make a huge jump. It's going to go, because I'm even somebody who's created many online courses, the process of interviewing 40 plus different course creation experts, I've actually learned a ton. So I highly recommend you join it. And like Tim said, you can get in for free. Each interview out of the 40 interviews is live and free for 48 hours. After that, if you want to get unlimited access, you can upgrade. There's a couple of different options for that. So it's really easy. If you want to get it and have it forever, be able to get the MP3s, transcripts, bonus Q&As, all that's in the upgrade package. But I'm not really here to pitch you. I just really want you to check out the summit because I think it'll be a ton of benefit to what you're doing as course creators. So that's all I think I'll say for now, Tim. Thanks so much.
Okay, yeah, thank you once again, Devin. Thank you for your time. I know, like pre-launch, you're probably getting those cats already in uniform to start dancing for the pre-launch party.
Yeah, that's about the Facebook group.
But yeah, take
a risk in posting that.
But thank you very, very much for your time today. Very much appreciated. And I said, yeah, definitely get on to the summit. I'll be replying to some of that stuff in the chat in a minute. We just got to let Devin go. So we'll be speaking with you very, very soon. Thank you for your time, mate. And I'll just wrap up here with these extra comments.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tim. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Yeah, let's keep this course creation conversation going. Do this again. And just thanks everyone for joining us. I wish I could stick around more for the comments, but I've got other commitments to run to. But let's be in touch about the summit. Let me know what you're thinking, your course ideas. We've also got a Facebook group on course creation, but you'll get access to that when you join the summit. But again, above all, the main thing is gratitude for you, Tim, and to everyone who's thinking of creating a course. just get out and get started, because that's the only way it's going to happen.